Hey everyone, it is Sue here. In today's video, I am working on some Bible journaling and I'm focusing on Psalm 84 verses 10 through 12. And that's what you see me highlighting right there. And so this psalm I read in my morning reading, reading the Bible through in a year. And this particular psalm just really spoke to me. I think because, let me read this. Let me read these verses to you. So, verse 10 For a day in your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of wickedness. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the one who trusts in you. So I just saw all kinds of, I just knew what I wanted to do right away on this Bible page when I read that. So I thought about this particular stencil that I'm working with right now. And of course, it's Tim Holtz, and I've used it probably many times in my Bibles before. And because I just, the sun, right? And I used the watercolor paints from the By the Well for God kit called Holy, Holy, Holy. And I tried to, make it almost like where the paint was a little bit lighter up on top. It got darker as it went down. And I think I kind of did that okay. I mean, it's very subtle, but I did. And then using the stickers that came with the kit, I put a little church on there, and now I'm going to put a little tree just so that pops a little bit more on the page. And I was looking through the other stickers, but I don't know. The people just weren't the right size. They were like too big for this page. And so I decided to use a piece of this, this sticker right here, and put that under the church. And it almost looks like it could be a road or a walkway or something like that, but it kind of gives a place for the church and the tree to sit on. Now I'm going through the tabs that come with the kit, and I decide on that one right there. And then I went and grabbed my favorite pen of all times, which is the Signo Uniball in black. And I just wrote on that little tab, Psalm 84. Then the next thing that I decided to use from this kit is the Holy, Holy, Holy stamp. It's the first time I'm using that stamp. And I should have, I didn't have an extra piece of paper right near me, believe it or not. But so I had to just really make sure that the ink was on there really good, and it was okay. But then, look at how slanted that is. Oh my goodness. So something like that normally would not bother me, but it bothered me when I did it, and it still bothers me now. But you know what? There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm moving on. You'll see here that I'm searching for a pen to use because I want to start writing on this page. And I'm just, sampling out a few of them. And I ended up with an illustrated faith pen. These pens I've had, I'm going to say probably since they actually came out. And what is that? I don't know. You guys maybe can tell me. Is it 10 years? I don't know. But they still work. And and I definitely like that they're not too thick. They're not too heavy. There are a couple different sizes. And yeah, I like them very much. So over here, using that stencil of that sun, so those sun rays, I decided to write Psalm 84, verse 11. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold. And it kind of fit pretty much perfectly on there. And I'm actually using those rays of sun as kind of like lines to write on. So it worked pretty well. And yeah, I was super happy with the way that had turned out. And at this point, I'm looking at it like, okay, this page is just way too white. And so I pulled out these watercolor paints that I purchased from Sprout Creative a while back. And I want to get some color. And so I decided to just take a little bit of yellow paint and just put a little bit to give some more color to the page. And on the bottom, underneath, like where the church is, I put some green. I wasn't happy with that green. And I was just checking there to make sure, or to see if anything was going through to the other side. But you'll see in a little bit that I do something different with that green on the bottom. And then I wrote, God is sun. So it says in verse 11, for the Lord God is a sun. So since there was an empty spot sitting there, I thought about it for a little bit well, what can I write in there that makes sense? So I put God is sun, ... meaning, obviously there's more to the verse than that. Now we're going to switch gears. It's actually the next day at this point. And what you see written there is all about Korah. So I wanted to do a study on the Sons of Korah, because that's who wrote Psalm 84, is Sons of Korah. And I'm like, well, who is Korah, right? And I did a study, and it's pretty long. You can see I'm just taking my happy planner page there that I wrote on, and I'm kind of basically just adding in another page here, right, with the washi tape, so I can see the front and the back of what I wrote, telling the story about Korah. And Korah was not a good person. So Korah eventually ended up getting swallowed by the earth because Korah felt he wanted to be a priest and not have the responsibilities that he did in the tabernacle. And so he went against Moses and Aaron and God. And so God had had enough, and Korah and his main people that were with him, they got swallowed up into the earth. The earth opened up, swallowed them, and closed. And then the rest of the 250 people that offered incense, well, that's part of the story, but they weren't supposed to offer incense, and they did, which was a sin. But a fire came out from the Lord and consumed those 250 leaders who also offered incense to the Lord. So that was the sin that got them killed. And but the good news is the Sons of Korah. I'll just kind of maybe read to you what I wrote here, because I tried to sum it up, and I'll just read it. So I'm just going to start with Psalm 84 by Sons of Korah. So 7 generations after Korah died, the prophet Samuel arose from the line of Korah. So Samuel is a direct descendant of Korah. The Korahites, right, which comes from the name Korah, the Korahites became doorkeeper and custodians of the tabernacle. So I find that interesting that in verse 10 of this psalm, it says, I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of wickedness. So if you think about the story of Korah, well, first of all, the sons of Korah were doorkeepers. And it is possible that when they write here, I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of wickedness. So we know that the tents of Korah went down into the hole with Korah and all of their belongings. So, like, I would not have known that about this verse or this psalm if I didn't do that study on Sons of Korah, that they are doorkeepers and what their history was way back generations with the tents and the wickedness being gobbled up by the earth by God. It's just interesting. Then I continue to write the Korahites, became the doorkeeper and custodians of the tabernacle. Some Korahites joined King David in the military, and some became leaders in choral and orchestral music in the tabernacle. So I got that information from gotquestions.com. So I always, I do document that on here, that's where I got this information from. And I always put the date on the page as well. And yeah, so it was a great study. I enjoyed it. And I learned a lot, actually, about the sons of Korah and Korah. Super cool little Bible study. And here's just a couple pictures for you. I hope you enjoyed this. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and God bless. I'll see you soon.